All right, MYB, Happy New Year to you. It's your host, Champ Ron. This is the Minding Your Business podcast. This is episode number 237, Entrepreneurship, Real Estate, Trending News. There's no business like minding your own. Woo, we got through 2020, boy, didn't we? Some of you have been waiting for this day for so long, but we're now into 2021. That's definitely for sure. We're underway. Recording this on January the 5th of 2021. Subscribe to the podcast, 5 star, wherever you get your pods. That helps us to continue to grow the MYB community. And as always, you can connect with me at champronbrooks.com. Make sure you text me, 312-847-4071. BS free, bot free. It comes right to me. And I'd love to be able to communicate with you and have you be part of the tribe, the Minding Your Business community. Would love to have you be able to do that. Hope that you rang in the new year safely. And that now that you're underway, actually, I said the 5th. Today's actually the 6th of January. So let me correct myself there. But hopefully you're underway. You're into the new year. You've got your 2021 legs under you, and you're ready to go forth and be just a little bit better than you were before. So I'm excited about today's guest that's joining all the way from SoCal. I think it was Tony that said it doesn't rain in Southern California.
That's right, John.
I guess that still holds true. I haven't been out there in a
It
while.
holds true.
Kimberly Kelly-Rolfe is our guest today. She is the director of the SC Virtual Business Center. That's the Southern California Virtual Business Center. Just doing tremendous work. I want you guys, when you get done, I want you to go to scvirtualbusinesscenter.com and learn more about the center and connect there. So today, if you're a small business owner or you're considering getting into the business ownership, or you're a supporter of a small business, this is going to be a great episode for you to learn and kind of connect with Kimberly and her team. But Kimberly, thank you so much. You're very sweet for taking time out on today to join us.
Thank you, Champ Ron, for having me. Wow, I'm so looking forward to this show, and I know that your podcast is pretty amazing, and so I have so much to share with your guests. So I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, I love that energy, Kimberly. Thank you so much. And of course, this episode is sponsored once again by our good friend of the podcast and colleague, Liv Amagro. She was able to connect us, and that's been tremendous. So shout out to Liv for all her support and her professionalism and leadership throughout. So Kimberly, let's jump in. For those that aren't familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your journey to get to where you are today.
Thank you. Yes, most people know me as the professor because I am a professor at University of Southern California, where I teach entrepreneurship
Excellent.
to undergraduate students. So, and just a little bit of background about me. I'm a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. Have been one since the age of 13. Ron, I'm actually on my third business. And it's been a journey. It's definitely been a joyful one, but I can tell you I've learned some amazing things along the way. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is in 2015, I actually had an opportunity to go to the White House and meet with the Obama administration on behalf of small businesses. Yes. Yeah. So it's been an exciting journey. And I tell you, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I've learned a lot of things along the way that I'm excited to be able to share. I owned an accounting firm for the last 14 years before I sold it in 2018. It was there that I learned some of the greatest lessons, and that it was also there that I really got into contracting pretty deeply. I've been training business owners since 2007. To scale and grow their companies, and now I'm also the author of a book, and so I'm really a
lot going on there.
And I'm doing a lot. And as the director of the Southern California Virtual Business Center, we train small businesses to scale and grow with corporate and government contracts.
Yes, absolutely. And so, when did the center start? and how long has it been in existence?
So we are actually a new center. We started as a result of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We have been doing training courses for businesses, and when the pandemic hit, we made a big pivot because we had business owners. We were referring them to different business centers, and they were telling us they're closed, Kimberly. And I said, they're closed. And so we made a big pivot, and we decided to take all of our courses and put it under the umbrella of the Southern California Virtual Business Center so that we could continue to support small businesses, because a lot of them were having to make pivots during the pandemic because they were trying to figure out, how do we sustain, how do we, survive this pandemic? And we knew we had a lot of insight and a lot of information, so we made the pivot so we could share that with them.
Absolutely. So Kimberly, how does it work virtually? And I ask this in all sincerity because my audience knows that I started Entre Memphis, which was of course, a physical kind of co-working location that was here in downtown Memphis. And of course, they know that story about how it failed and that the pathway that led to it ultimately failing, which opened up the lane for what I do today. But, that was all in a physical space. And of course, long before we were wearing masks and talking about social distancing and all that type of stuff. So, how does it work? If I'm a business owner and I come across the business center, what am I looking for? And how do I get involved?
So originally, all of our courses were going to be on campus, on the university campus.
Yeah.
And when the pandemic hit, we wanted to make sure that businesses anywhere could reach us and get the support, and the resources they needed in order to survive and grow in business. So the great news is you have the opportunity to visit our site, sign up for one of our courses, our training programs. And when you sign up for one of the training programs, you get full instructions on how we move forward, but everything is done online via Zoom. We have platforms that you log into to get assistance, and through our programming, our businesses receive education, executive education and training, as well as executive coaching. So we are literally walking you through how to get what you need in terms of growing your business. So everything you have access to us at your fingertips, or I should say from your computer.
yeah, absolutely. And Kimberly, why is that so important, right? Because, to be, as a business owner, whether you're new and kind of starting up or you've been in business for many decades, why is that important for business owners, men and women, to have access to that level of education, even during this pandemic?
Well, I like to say that, as business owners, we're hustlers. And a lot of times we are just working our business. We're not thinking about, all these other outside things. And so as hustlers, we're so focused on our business that sometimes we forget we've got to step away from the business to work on the business and not just in the business. Right. So I think that's the greatest reason. And then the other thing is, with education and training comes growth.
Yes.
A lot of times, again, we're so focused on the business, we're not thinking about, we're thinking about our sales. We're not thinking about, what's next. And so education really forces you to think about what's next.
Right. Exactly. No, exactly. And so, what I'm looking at here is, I pulled up, for those that are watching on YouTube or all the various video channels, you can see here, I pulled up the actual website for the Southern California Virtual Business Center. And as you can see, tremendous website, and, you get information right off the bat here, right? Everything that Kimberly is saying. And so, again, I want you guys to go visit the website, because it's really, easy for you to come and register, get access to the training programs, sign up, register for events. You see the calendar, how to get in touch, so, a great website that you get everything that you need, really without even making a lot of clicks, right? I mean, you get right here, it jumps you right off the bat, boom, hits you in the teeth with, who we serve, right? So exactly what you're working with here. And there's just a wealth of information. So I want to make sure to share that, Kimberly, just so that, for those that are watching, who happen to be watching this podcast, you can kind of see kind of the layout of the website. And so definitely MYB, make sure to go check that out. And you don't have to be in Southern California, right, Kimberly?
You do not have to be in Southern California. You can be anywhere in the world.
There you go. And see, that's the beauty of the technology. See, I'm sitting here in Memphis, Tennessee, talking to Kimberly, who's in California. And then, all of you that are listening are able to connect and get the resources that you need right here from the SC Virtual Business Center. You can see the various services right here on the About Us screen. You learn about their team. There's Kimberly right there and her tremendous team there. And talk about your husband, James, and his involvement in the organization.
Yes. Well, James and I have always worked together in business, and I know that's not common, for a husband and wife team, but we actually work quite well together.
Oh, that's good.
And so,
I don't know if you'd say it any other way.
Our slogan has been, he catches them, I cook them.
Oh, I like it. There you go.
But James, believe it, in this space, James is a master connector. So I tell people, anybody you want to know, anybody you want to come into contact with, James is our guy. And so He does an amazing job at connecting our business owners to the contracting departments, working with them to get certified, working with them to connect with any resources that they may need in order to scale and grow. So He is our resource guy. He's our outreach person. He's the person that's going to keep you connected to everything that you need.
Yeah, definitely. And that's great that you all are, able to work that together and have that vision together and find that level of success in essentially providing a platform for others to grow and be just a little bit better as it relates to their business. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Kimberly, around like mentorship and executive coaching. I think that's something that's, so often missed when we start businesses, because a lot of folks, and particularly those of, more ethnicity, right? Black and brown people don't come from these backgrounds of having a lot of, coaching and mentorship, right? We tend to get into business a lot of times as vigilantes, and what I use that term and the community laughs at me, but we're kind of these vigilantes, right? Where we want to rid the world of, that 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
We've been laid off and we put our fist in the air and it's like, no more, I'm starting my own business. I'm going to be my own boss.
That's right.
No one's going to tell me anything anymore. And so we run out there and we do it, right? And we often don't come from these bases or family, have a lot of family members who have done it and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of pressure right off the bat. In making decisions. And when you come from sometimes the workplace where you haven't been responsible for having to make financial decisions at a business level, right? It's one thing when you're managing your checking account.
Yeah.
It's another thing when you're managing the ins and outs of a company, right? The financial piece, marketing, the human resources, all those type of things, the vendor management. A lot of us don't come out of jobs where we were doing that. We might have been more on the technical side and were the kind of the finisher of a particular aspect of one area, but not managing all the areas at once and then making strategic and visionary decisions based on information. A lot of us don't always come from that.
Absolutely.
I was fortunate for me, having come up through the banking world and getting to that strategic visionary level helped me tremendously in my business. Right.
Yes.
But, for many of us, that's not the case. So can you talk about that, kind of what you do to kind of help provide that mentorship and that coaching that's so necessary for people that are in business?
Absolutely. We have a lot of business owners that come to us and maybe they've been in business for a couple of years, maybe they've been in business 20 years. And, they've just been in that hustle and they're ready to take their company to the next level. And they're saying to us, Kimberly, how do we do it? My story, and this is probably something that I didn't get a chance to share with you, Ron. My company actually went from struggling to pay bills to $1 million, over $1 million in contracts. And so when we started, business owners started coming to us, asking us, how did you do it? What did you do? And so in our programming, we want to make sure that One, you get the executive education because that education it's a game changer. And
Yes.
what it does is it exposes you to things that you just may not have even thought about because you're so caught up in that hustle.
Right.
It takes it begins to transform just the whole mindset. And then if that's not enough, our coaches come in and we are basically coaching you by holding your hand. So we're basically interpreting the information that you just learned. And then we're holding your hand and walking you through the steps that you have to take in order to integrate this into your company. Once
Yes.
you're able to integrate it, now we can get you to the point of, okay, what contracts are a fit for your company?
Yeah.
So that executive education and coaching is huge. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times, that the learning curve without a coach, the learning curve
Yeah.
without some sort of executive training program, it's too long.
Yeah. So
Too long.
without pleading the fifth, that's what happened. Or one of many areas that hurt me with my co-working business was I was still in the midst of my working career and I was trying to wing it. And my assumption was, Kimberly, that it would run itself, that the co-working space had the resources and, I provided this, kind of safe place for people to come. And it was a little early to market, right? There was only one other co-working facility like in the city at the time.
Okay.
And so it was very early to market, which would have required then a lot more equity injection into marketing and advertising, which I did not have. I did not have that type of capital and wasn't in a position to obtain. What's that?
Most small businesses are in that position.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yep, you're exactly right. And so, when you say that, I chuckle because I did not have that, and I don't think I just cognitively chose to not have it. I just didn't know. Almost, let's say I can't even say I didn't know that I didn't need it. I was probably a little too arrogant to believe that I needed it at that time. I thought I could just kind of get through it, right? But I'll share with anybody that's listening that no matter what level that you believe that you are, think of, even Jeff Bezos has advisors, right? He's not just out there winging Amazon, right? He's got a whole board. He's got a lot. Yeah. Right.
More people that you can get around you who can teach you, know, it makes a big difference. I tell people, you don't know what you don't know.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
As we used to say, you better ask somebody.
True. That's the old school saying for sure.
And what you don't know can certainly hurt you. Right.
Yep, exactly. And so whether it's him or Bill Gates or in any of the top business owner, right, or successful business owner has some level of mentorship and coaching development, and someone that they can bounce their thoughts off and will critique them in a way that helps them get be a little bit better and think of it more holistically or in a proper manner. So for me not doing that was a catalyst, one of many catalysts that led to that. And that's why I share that, so that, to MYB, to Kimberly's point, having that access to executive coaching and mentorship, through the virtual business center here is tremendous and a tremendous asset to have. And you do need that. I'll tell you that right now. You do need it.
I tell people, Champ Ron, that it took me $250,000 in education and 10 years to learn the stuff that I teach you in about 6 months.
Right. Exactly. So that's another point. So you've made the investment, operating your accounting firm, operating the business center, and we'll talk about the book here in a second. But like I say, you've been able to package the information such that you and your team can deliver it and help people be a little bit better, faster, which I think is kind of the aim as we go through the pandemic. And so what are some of the goals for the center, Kimberly, as you go into 2021? What are some things that you guys are working on, and what do you want to see the center kind of further evolve to this year?
So I think first and foremost, we recognize that a lot of small businesses, as a result of the pandemic, are trying to figure out, how do we sustain? We can not even grow. How do we sustain? Right. First and foremost. And a lot of businesses have had to pivot to figure out, do we need to change our product offering? Do we need to, relook at the services that we're offering? So what we are doing at the Southern California Virtual Business Center is we are working with businesses wherever you are. And so our focus is on how do we work with you to sustain and grow long term? And one of the things that we understand very well is contracts are a game changer. Contracts will make all the difference in the world. And so what we want to do is we want to work with small businesses where you are to get you to the point of developing capacity so that as you're going after contract opportunities, you are ready. I tell people all the time, there are over $1 trillion in contract opportunities for just about any business in any industry. But you have to have capacity for them. Meaning that you can't just show up and say, take my, give me a contract. It's right. They're looking to see how much experience do you have. They're trying to hire experts themselves. These corporations and the government is. So they want to know that you have the ability to deliver what your contract says you can deliver. So we work with businesses to make sure you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that preparation, right? I think, it sounds great. It sounds sexy to be able to get the government contract because it's higher paying. The government's a little bit more of a guaranteed vendor, right? Than the typical other vendor or business. But like you said, you have to be, fully prepared.
Yes. $1 million contract, but it's the work that comes before getting to that point.
Right. Exactly. There is a good bit of work that, as someone who's done, government contracts before, there is a good bit of work that goes into it. There's a lot of credibility that you have to be able to demonstrate.
Yes.
Kind of, one, to even earn the contract, and even throughout the contract, and then post the contract through procurement, and then, ultimately, through payment. That's required. So it's not just duck work that you just show up and, email some documents and now you're in, and then they just give you a $10 million contract, and That's then right. you do the work, and then they just, cash app you $10 million, right?
It's definitely not that. But what we do tell people is we'll teach you we'll sort of outline that roadmap for you, because the truth of the matter is it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's just there's a strategy to it. Yes. And so as you learn the approach and you begin to develop the capacity, you'll find that it's easier than what you think. Most people are very intimidated by the idea of going after a government contract or even a corporate contract. But once you understand the formula, you understand what it takes, you'll go after them all the time. And matter of fact, my company, we worked under contracts all the time. That was what we did consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with contracts, or even just in general, one of the things that, you share with people, and you can tell me if you agree or not, Kimberly, is, you have to have some kind of presence, right? You can't just have showed up yesterday and said, like, hey, I want to go after this contract. Like there's the process, there's the growth that has to take place. And, you have to have some kind of, obviously you have to have the online presence, but you have to have done some things, right? Like, I think a lot of people try to show up, and, like I say, it's the sexy thing, right? They read up on it, they go to a class or something, and, again, they become the vigilante, right? They're going to rid the world of, and I'm going to get paid doing it, right?
Yeah.
And, there's much more to that. You have to have some kind of credibility. What have you done, right? And so, that's what the government or anybody.
Yes. How well do you understand your customer? Do you know what job they're trying to get done? Do you understand why they are hiring you in the first place? Can you prove that you actually have a track record for servicing that type of customer, or just some experience in the past with working to deliver the customer's needs? So those are all the things that you've got to be able to come to the table with as you're going for those contract opportunities. Yeah. And then there's a little way to get in there a little faster. It's kind of shortcut things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, having this type of resource, Kimberly, I think helps to shorten learning curves, which can help the process and help people progress along that process, much more expeditiously, for sure.
Absolutely. And if I actually share about I have about 5 or 6 tips that I recommend to businesses trying to get into the space. They can visit our website and ask me for those tips, and
Okay.
I will certainly send them over to you.
Yeah, there you go. And so can they just go to the, I guess, the contact us page
Absolutely.
and just kind of reach out that way and
Contact us
ask
at
for your tips?
center.com and ask for our tips, our contracting tips.
There you go. Yep, excellent. So MYB, make sure that you go in and do that. Go to the website, the links there in the show notes, and you'll ask for the 5 tips that
Yeah,
Kimberly's referring to, and those will get right over to you. That's a great no cost resource for you. And those tips may be the difference between you securing an opportunity and maybe an opportunity being delayed or not realized. So I encourage you all to take advantage of that for sure.
absolutely. And Champ Ron, when one of the things that I talked to you about before the show is results. I am a results oriented person. I look at results and outcomes. So I hold myself to that same standard. We just graduated a cohort of 20 businesses
Wow.
back in December. That cohort has already picked up over $2 million in contracts. And they just graduated, and we have other ones in the works at the very moment.
Wow.
We are very results oriented, and our focus is on getting our businesses to the point of securing contracts.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the book, Kimberly. You mentioned it earlier. The book's called Capacity. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. When can we expect it? And, what's kind of the premise of what can we expect once we are able to purchase it?
Well, the book is actually coming out this year
Okay.
in 2021. And we are really fortunate because our book has been selected already for Forbes 2021 recommended reading.
Look at
So
that.
very excited about that. And the book is actually on Amazon for pre-sale. So you
Okay.
can go to Amazon.com and look for our book Capacity. And it's Capacity, the roadmap to secure corporate and government contracts. And the premise of the book is really about working with business owners to understand what it's going to take in order to secure those contracts. I can't tell you, Coach Ron, how many times business owners came to me and said, Kimberly, I've been applying for these contracts and nothing has happened. And I said, there's a process. There's a way to do it.
Right.
And what I've learned, because as a professor and an educator, you can go through a training course, you can go through the best training course, and it just doesn't have the ability to go into the depth that the book does. So
Right.
we created an amazing course, and then we wrote the book on it. We wrote the book on how do you dive deep, how do you get in there and develop the capacity necessary to secure contracts. My expectation is once you go through and you read our books, the expectation is you're going to know the formula. And I would imagine within a year's time, you should be able to begin securing contracts.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
absolutely. So it's a little work on your part, but as you go through the book, you'll see it's easier than what you think in order to secure the contracts. And so the book really walks you through and provides a roadmap for how to secure the contracts.
Definitely. Well, and that's outstanding. And so, the book's available for pre-sale. When will it be out officially?
We're expecting it to be out officially in April.
Okay. Awesome. Yep. Awesome. So not too long. So go ahead and jump in on the pre-sale, MYB. Go to Amazon, look for Capacity by our guest today, and make sure that you pick that up. And when it comes out and it's ready, and it will help you for those that have an interest in securing government contracts. This is a tremendous resource that Kimberly and her team have invested time in to help all of us. And so get your hands on the resources. I tell you guys that all the time. Get your hands on the resources, right?
Yes.
That's the difference. That's there's it's like Kimberly has said. There's not a secret sauce to this stuff, right? It's very simple. It may not always be easy, right? But it is very simple. So you got to make sure, one, that you're getting the coaching, the mentorship, and you definitely need to have the resources. You got to have the tools, right?
Yes.
So That's excellent. Kimberly, what's kind of next for you and with the company? As you move forward, we talked about some goals that you guys had for 2021, but ultimately your vision for the business center is what at its complete apex. What do you see?
Well, we set out to change the financial position of the people we serve. And we believe if you are a small business and you're out there operating, we recognize how a contract can make a difference, as I said earlier, in struggling to pay bills and securing over $1 million in revenue. So our focus is on long-term growth and sustainability of our small businesses. We want to be able to see small businesses survive this pandemic. So we are pulling out all the stops. We are going the distance to make sure that we are producing programming. We are producing small businesses that are able to get in position so that they can get these contracts. And I'm going to tell you, if you are a small business owner and you haven't looked at contracts, you haven't gone after contracts, you haven't thought about contracts, you are leaving money on the table.
Yeah, big time.
That's what our focus is. We want to be able to make sure that our small businesses are around. One of the things that I learned when I went to the White House, and it's sort of been a bit of a bit of a cause for me. I learned that if every small business employed one person, we'd have total employment in this country. And so I sort of took on that cause and say, okay, how do I do my part? And my part is, if I can train small businesses to sustain and grow, if I can train them to scale, what happens is they begin to become employers in their communities. And then they're able to employ their communities, provide careers, and the people in their communities are able to become homeowners and to raise up that community. And you don't have to worry about things like gentrification. You don't have to worry about things like unemployment in your community. You don't have to worry about the joblessness. You don't have to worry about low incomes because you, as an employer, as a small business owner with a contract, are able to go in to your community and change all of that. So that's where our focus on, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on, because we know that if we grow our small businesses, our small businesses employ nearly half of our country.
Yes.
We have to keep them thriving and growing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's truth.
Continue to do that.
Yeah. Excellent. No, that's a tremendous point. Especially in regards to the critical importance of small business on this country. One last thing too, I wanted to get your thoughts, Kimberly, on kind of the payroll protection, lending and all that, the PPP and the EIDL, lending and stuff like that. Are you guys involved in any of that?
Absolutely.
Are you working that with your clients?
Yeah. So we have worked with our small businesses to make sure that they get whatever money the government is offering. I tell people, I can't believe how many small businesses came to us and said, well, I didn't apply for it because I didn't think I qualified. I said, no, you apply for it until and you let them tell you no. And if they tell you no, you say why. So I'm telling everybody, apply. Right now, they are offering they're going to be offering a second round of PPP. If you
they haven't started yet, right?
No, they haven't started yet.
Yeah.
Go get the first round if you haven't gotten the first round, and then go get the second round. And then in terms of the EIDL, that's the first time. If you look at that EIDL, this is small business owners. This is the first time you're able to get small business. First of all, a grant that you don't have to pay back.
Right.
They don't happen very often. But then secondly, beyond the grant portion of it, there's a loan portion of it. And the qualifications are so slim, that I tell everybody, at least go out and get it. The PPP, they don't even look at credit for PPP. Now, if Ron, I'm sure for one of the hardest things about being a small business owner is getting capital.
Right.
COVID. Now with COVID, you're able to get capital that is, first of all, extremely cheap. extremely cheap. You may not even have to pay it back as long as you follow the rules. And I'm
Right.
like, you know, we couldn't have a better situation in terms of small business owners accessing capital. So
Right.
go out there and get that free money. Go out there and get that low interest money.
Yeah.
Apply for everything.
Right. There you go. Yeah, it's out there. So yeah, that's what it was put out there for. So
Yes.
definitely people should take heed and go get that.
And
So
keep applying until you get a yes. And if you're not able to do it on your own, go get some help. Go to one
right.
of the business centers. Somebody can help you to qualify for that money.
Yeah, there you go. And it goes back to our topic earlier, which was you got to make sure you have the resources. You got to make sure that you ask for help and have that coaching and that mentorship along your side
Absolutely.
to go and make things happen. So yeah, that's incredible.
And
Kimberly Kelly-Rolfe is our guest.
thank
Go ahead,
you.
Kim. Go ahead,
I
Kimberly.
was just going to say, I think it's also forcing our small businesses to be accountable too, because some of you guys don't want to file your taxes. You don't want to do your bookkeeping and your accounting. You don't want to do your payroll. Well, you got to do all of that stuff. It's time to look. It's time to grow up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta evolve your business.
That's
And good record keeping is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
No matter how intricate or how basic, you got to have some level. So that's one of the things that going back in my banking days was,
Mhm.
personal credit was always a challenge. Having down payments and things like that was always a challenge. But one thing that always would shock me is just not having the documentation, right?
Yeah.
So many people run their business kind of the same way they run their personal finances. Everything's ran off kind of this one account.
Yes.
People do all this stuff off of, of course now Cash App, and Square and all that, but there's really no record keeping, right?
Right.
There's nothing, they don't file any kind of real taxes under it or anything like that. So then, there's no record keeping for them to go off to even see if you do qualify. So one of the things I think we can all echo is, as you go into this year, start working on your record keeping, right?
Absolutely.
And get assistance with that. And there's all kind of things, whether you're using some variation of QuickBooks or, I used to tell people, at the very least, have you a spreadsheet,
Right.
even if you don't want to invest in all those things, or maybe you're not quite to the point, even you got the capital to even get QuickBooks is very reasonable.
Mhm.
There's other, accounting software, but at the very least, have your bank statements and, some kind of spreadsheet. Have something, right?
Yes. And they have programs that'll do it for you now. So,
Yeah.
if you have a Cash App, do a Cash App under the business. If you have a Zelle, do it underneath your business. So,
Right.
Keep the business and the personal separate, and that'll help make it easier for you to track.
Yep. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Kimberly Kelly-Rolfe is our guest today, who is the director of the SC Virtual Business Center, owner of an accounting firm, and she's the soon-to-be author of the book Capacity that is on pre-sale now. So make sure you check those links out in the show notes, MYB. And Kimberly, thank you so much. This has been a tremendous, joyful and insightful dialogue to have with you, to say the least. I think we've all learned a good bit from you, and if anything, we know that there's a resource out there.
Yes.
There in Southern California that's available to businesses, worldwide, and that's should be a good feeling for all of us.
Thank you, Champron. I certainly have enjoyed this time, and I want to leave the business with this. Go get a contract. And if you don't have the capacity yet, come see us.
Well, I would actually add, I would word that a little different. I say, get a contract by coming to see you guys first and get the coaching and mentorship, no matter where you are. So I'd say go to the SC Virtual Business Center, and of course, utilize your local resources where you are. And so the combination of the business, you guys as the Virtual Business Center, what you have locally there, and so here in Memphis, we have the Office of Business and Diversity here in the city of Memphis, which is a tremendous resource, again, to say the least. And so I think, you can never have too many resources, right?
Absolutely.
No one said, what, I got too many resources, right? No one's ever said that. So gather all the resources that you can, and that's going to help you and propel you to secure funding. And yes, like Kimberly said, get you a contract.
That's right.
Kimberly, thank you so much. Give my best to to your family and to everybody there at the Virtual Business Center. And I know we'll be in touch. We've talked about some things that we'll look to get involved with as the days, weeks, and months kind of go past, that we can help more people and realize some synergies and working together. So. But again, thank you guys so much for what you do and in helping small business owners again be just a little bit better.
Thank you, Champron, and Happy New Year to you and all of your guests.
Yep, excellent. Thanks so much. That was Kimberly Kelly-Rolfe joining us today. Make sure you go to scvirtualbusinesscenter.com. That's in the show notes. Make sure you go there and connect. Don't forget to get the free tips. I know there's some of you that like to jump on stuff like that. Others of you are a little bit slow, but you need to go ahead and get the free tips. You're starting off the new year. You made those resolutions, right? So don't make yourself out to be a lie, or at least not too quick. Go ahead and jump on those resources and again, help yourself progress just a little bit further and get you a contract for goodness sake, and get paid as a result. So listen, we're going to get out of here. This has been episode 237. Don't forget champronbrooks.com. Make sure you connect with me there to learn more about the podcast, my other various ventures. Share feedback with me, good, bad, or ugly. That helps me grow the show and again, be just a little bit better in bringing you guys this level of information. And don't forget to text me again, 312-847-4071. I want to send you my ebook. I've got my ebook out there, Investing in Real Estate with Little to No Money Down. I want to send that to you. I debunk a few myths in there about things related to credit and getting funding, particularly as it relates to real estate deals. And so now's a great opportunity to get involved in real estate if you haven't been already. But one thing that'll help propel you is to get my ebook. So get the ebook. Text me 312-847-4071. Listen, there are three things that unite us. And I say this at the end of every episode because it's true. And I hope that you're inspired by this as you go forward. There's three things that unite us, no matter where we're from, no matter what cards you've been dealt in life, no matter, what, you look forward to and as relates in regards to the pandemic. We all want to be just a little bit better for ourselves, a little bit better for our families, and a little bit better for our communities. Every person that you come across has that same goal. We may have different ways of how we get there, right? But those three things hold true with everybody that you come across. And so if we keep that in mind with everybody that we come across, we all want to be a little better for ourselves, a little better for our families, a little better for our communities. If we keep those things in mind, MYB community, we'll all collectively make this place just a little bit better. Listen, go be great. Enjoy the rest of your day and come back. We'll be back for episode 238, the Minding Your Business podcast. We'll keep going. Champ Ron, the Minding Your Business podcast. Take care.